Welcome to Story Route Zero.
This is a podcast where friends gather to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, and the strange worlds of video games. We often don't know where we're going, but that's half the fun. Come on the journey with us. Hit us up on Twitter at StoryRoute0. You can send us an email at StoryRoute0@gmail.com. That includes questions, concerns, comments, complaints, pet pics. Send us some recipes. Send us some stories about your day. We're going to listen.
Podcast, start your engines. We have liftoff. Let's have a journey.
Wait a minute, I caught you fouled, and I felt it groan. She meant to hold the bar down, and she cleaned my nose. That's the Melvins, Night Goat, off of their album Houdini, one of the great stoner metal albums of all time. My name is Matthew Keel. This is Story Route Zero, episode number 95. NBA Live 95.
Was that a solo by Bagel with that quote?
Yeah, he's outside the door. He's mad because he's going to come in here and whine. But we talk about video games. That voice you heard was Jason. Jason, how are you? Drink your coffee.
Doing well.
Cool. Michaela, what up?
The ceiling.
Really?
Wow.
This is what you're gonna do? You thought that TikTok was not worth it? Really?
Bruh, this is the face of no sleep. Don't fuck with it.
I'm not scared of you. Moose, how are you? Nah.
And over a cold, but I'm good.
Everybody fighting illness. Well, Story Route Zero, we've done this 94 other times. So we talk about video games. What's everybody been playing? All of you at once. Michaela, actually, you know what? No, fuck you boys. Michaela, tell me about Shin Megami Tensei V.
So that is the only game I've been playing. And I am not as far as one would expect. I've played for just under, I'm probably close to 15 hours. I'm a little under 15 hours at this point, if my save file is anything to go by. When to put that into perspective, so that game's been out for what, 10 days now?
Sure.
I beat Tales of Arise in like 65 hours in 2 weeks. So I beat Metroid Dread in about the same amount of time in 5 days. So I've been very busy dealing with first sick animals and then sick relatives. And I haven't made it as far as I would like, but also something about it is actually just like not grabbing me. It feels like something is missing. This is probably not what you expected me to say about SMT at all, based on the fact that it is a turn-based JRPG and that is like my crack. Sure. I feel like I'm almost 15 hours in and I'm still waiting for the game to start.
You need a new dealer.
Yeah. I feel like something is just missing. I feel like I'm still waiting through the prologue. I'm waiting for something to happen. I'm waiting for it to grab me. I have no idea what's going on in the story, and like not in a good way, like a crazy, I have no idea what's going on in the story, more like I don't care what's going on in the story. And since it's your typical Atlas protagonist, aka awkward high school protag boy who doesn't talk, there's been zero character development, because unlike in the Persona games, which I apologize for recalling any sort of IGN comparison here, but obviously Persona is the spin-off offshoot child of SMT as a franchise. Unlike in those games, you don't have like a party of characters. You have your main character and the demons that they wield, and those make up your party in battles. And the demons don't have personalities. They're basically your Pokemon, essentially. So I've spent the majority of those 15 hours with a guy who doesn't talk. And the story is just kind of like, yep, we're going to fight and kill God. It's every JRPG ever. So, and the music has been kind of lackluster. So for a lot of those 15 hours, I'm looking for that bump, that beat. And I'm just like, awkward silence. Just like nothing's playing in my head. The turn-based is sound. I like the system. So it's your typical weaknesses, but you know, if you strike an enemy weakness rather than like knocking them down like you do in Persona 5, I'm making that reference again because people here are familiar with it, you gain an extra turn essentially. So each round, let's say you have 4 characters in your party, you get 4 turns per round in combat. If you strike a weakness, you double that turn, so you can get up to 8 actions per round in combat. So you still want to be striking weaknesses, but if you strike a resistance, you lose an action. So like if they like, instead of being weak to ice, they block ice and you strike them with an ice-based attack, you lose that action. And then the same goes for them. If they strike your weakness or your resistance, they gain and lose actions as the enemies and all that stuff. But outside of combat, there's really nothing to engage with. Yeah, there's side quests, but it's like, go here, find this or fight this and come back to tell me that you did that. There's really just like, I ran through this big open world section for a good 12 out of those 15 hours with very little story development, 0 character development, and just the same combat over and over again. And I just feel like I'm waiting for the game to start. I'm like, all right, where's the where's the this is the mechanic that sets the game on fire, or all right, now we've got like a bunch of people that I care about, and it's not happening. I'm like, this is a fine turn-based system. Just
You're just not wowed.
the game is surprisingly meh. Like, there's nothing wrong with the combat. It's just nothing. It's missing a personality. That's the best way I can describe this. It doesn't have an identity outside of turn-based JRPG, fight the power of God.
Right.
It also, I mean, it is an Atlas game. It is the first one of these to be made in Unreal Engine, but it still looks kind of jank in handheld and on the TV. Like,
Okay.
it just doesn't look right. Like, especially when there's enemies and you're more than 5 feet away from them, they just kind of like don't move right. They're like they're like, I swear to God, I saw one like tease dancing in the distance at one point, and I was like, you do you, man. You just tease dance over there. So
my quarrel is not with you, Mr. T-Pose. You good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you live your life.
I didn't go attack it. I was like, you know what, you do you. I'm probably gonna break the game if I go try to fight that right now anyways.
Right.
So it just doesn't have a wow factor. It doesn't have a solid identity or a personality. It's not a good feeling. Like, I've played games like Trails of Cold Steel. I don't know if you guys are aware or have heard of.
I've never played it, but
I have heard of it, and
people rave about it, but they're like,
play it.
yeah, but it takes a long time to get into it. The first game starts really slow. That's what this feels like. And as a JRPGer, I know sometimes you got to commit 10 hours before you like get that like green light to go in a JRPG, and then the next 50 hours are like bam, bam, bam. But I'm 15 hours in, and I feel like I'm still waiting for the game to start. Like, some shit has happened. The story has moved. I'm into like essentially what is like the second dungeon of the game, sort of. Like, there's real world Tokyo and there's fake world Tokyo. So I did intro, I did fake world Tokyo for about 10 hours. I did next story section in Tokyo, and now I'm into the second section of fake world Tokyo. And it's just like, all right, so no, this isn't like a prologue. The game is just like going, and it's just not doing anything.
Is there like a Velvet Room situation ever in the? Okay.
Well,
okay.
I mean, there's your save points. So yeah, there's a character who has so at your save points, they're called ley line fonts. You can travel between them like safe rooms, in Persona, but there's like this little green skeleton man who hoards treasure, and he's like your shop. And then there's this blue bitch who does your fuse. I will say the fusing system is very streamlined. They definitely updated the fusing system. Like you can see all of your fusion possibilities between the demons in your party. Then you can also go to it's called reverse compendium fusion. You can see all of the possibilities with the ones that are in your compendium period, whether they're in your party or whether you'd have to purchase them, and it shows the price of what it would take to pay for the demon to make the fusion. The fusion system has definitely been streamlined, which is nice. But yeah, I feel like there's just no personality to this game that I can like grip onto as an identity that like grounds me and interests me and makes me want to push further. I will keep playing, but tomorrow Death's Door is coming out, and yeah, I'm gonna play that because SMT is just like bleh right now, and I'm like, why are you bleh?
So this is your first in the SMT series, right? Okay. And which personas have you played? Is it just 5?
Just 5, all of
And
the
Royal?
5. 5,
Okay.
5 Royal, 5 Strikers, Scramble, whatever the fuck.
Okay. So you sound to me like how I felt when I started playing Golden on Vita, because that was mine. Actually, no, I'm sorry. You sound, because like, okay, I played Persona 4 on PS2, but I had forgot enough about it that when I started up Golden, it was like kind of reintroducing myself. I didn't have like the muscle memory for it. So it took me a long time to sort of like what you're saying is like you are exactly where I was until it, you know, drove its hooks in and I started to figure out, oh, this is how this works. Do you have any sort of signposts as to what could grab you, or you just feel
If
kind
the
of like
story
in the
takes
ether?
off a little bit more, like I just
Okay.
went through a big story section today, actually, between workout and then this.
Mhm.
I played for, I don't know, another 2 hours, and I came out of like that first main exploration in the fake Tokyo, and then came back to like the high school part, and there was this girl that like was a character that got teased at the beginning, and like she started to get some development, and I heard her talk like once, and I'm like, that's Erica Lindbeck, I fucking know it. And then I went to Wikipedia and I was right. And like I don't know, like a demon came and like took her and killed a bunch of kids, and I was like, all right, we got some story moving, there's some character development here, something's happening, but it's still not really gripping me. Also, a lot, it's not even just that, it's just a lot of it's pacing. Like if the first exploration area was shorter so that it didn't take so long to get to this first major story beat beyond the intro, but again, that's also on me because I explored fully. But like I should be able to explore fully without feeling like the pacing is off, because I went and looked at, like, I did most of the side quests that I encountered, which were again like go here, do this, come back and tell me you did it, not like anything too in depth. And then also there's little guys you can find in the environment called Mimon. They're basically your Kodama, to make a Neo reference.
Okay.
Find a little Mimon, you get glory, and then for every 5 you find, you get a something from the shop guy. So it felt like that area was too long, too big for how little story reward you get. And then I finally got to this story reward bit, and it's just when something about it is just like something is missing from this game, because even when like I was in that new story section, it's like, go here, encounter this, next, go here, encounter this. There's not much interactivity in the world. As somebody who really likes linear games, this is almost too linear because there's nothing to interact with in the world.
Okay.
So like I talk about wide linearity. FF10 is a very linear game, but it's got a lot of stuff going on where you can get off the critical path and do other stuff.
Mhm.
This just feels like an empty world. It's not necessarily like the hallway simulator that FF13 gets compared to sometimes.
Okay.
It's just something's missing. Like I keep saying
Sure.
it, there's some missing element of personality here, that brings the world to life. It's not quite there for me. I don't know. I know a lot of people are enjoying this game, and I've talked about this way too long for this being the only game I've played for the past week. But yeah, something is just, I know, how dare I go on this long? But yeah,
I mean, you kind of sound like, you kind of sound like when I am really into a musician or band, and then I go and listen to what they talk about, like really sort of made their sound, and I'll be like, okay, but I can see if I don't like latch onto their influences the same way, I kind of feel like exactly how you do. I'm like, there's something here, and I can see where the people I like pulled from. That doesn't necessarily mean I have to like that stuff. And it kind of sounds like you and I are Persona fans who have never played SMT. And if we go to SMT, we might say, oh, all of these things cross over, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the magic is the same.
Yeah, I think it definitely is not boding well for this game that I've played Persona. And I hate to make that comparison, but it's like, so basically, so far my experience with SMT5 is it's like Persona without the social link system, without a diverse cast of characters in your party. It's like just having Joker and only Joker.
Okay.
And he doesn't talk.
Okay.
And then there's other minor characters around you, but they're not like in your party, so they're not really with you. You just encounter them for a few minutes at a time every few hours. So it's like just having Joker, no social link system, no school activities, no stats to like manage, like social stats to manage.
Right.
No goofing around like at the fishing pond or the batting cages. It's just go here, have a bunch of battles, go here, go into next. It's not, I'm like, it's not the hallway simulator that I'm making.
It sounds like Yakuza if it were just a third person beat 'em up.
Yeah, it's just, and it's not, it doesn't have to be Persona. It doesn't have to be, because it is
Right.
SMT5, but at the same time, it feels like, yes, they revised the fusion system. I know that they did that. I've heard people talk about how it's been streamlined, and I know from my experience of Persona, which uses a very similar mechanic, that this is streamlined in how they treated the compendium. It just feels like it's missing elements, even as just a turn-based JRPG, blocking out the idea of Persona entirely. If I compared this to Dragon Quest or Final Fantasy, there's not a fullness to the world. It's missing interactivity and it's missing character. So.
No, I'm at that with, oddly, with Guardians. I've played Guardians now 3 times. I love it when I play it, but there's nothing when I'm done, like, oh, I can't wait till I'm done working. Like tonight, I want to go back to, like, there's nothing, like, I can easily be swayed, like, oh, play this. Like, okay. Like, there's not, like the story's cool. Granted, and I think playing Avengers, combat's not, Avengers has a better combat system. That's probably the only thing it's got over. So maybe that, but like, I'm engaged in that story, but I'm not gripped by it that I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see what happens. Like, I'll get to it. And then it's like, no, I'm going to play this. So,
but at least that has like good music and good
True.
visuals and good
True.
story. This is just like, even the music isn't good. And I'm like, this is Atlas. Why is the music so boring? It's just like, I wasn't even expecting that. Literally, the whole game is just blah. I'm like, I can't believe that's what I'm saying about this game. It was one of my most anticipated for the year. I was like, this could mess up my top 5. And now I'm like,
Yeah,
I
I
don't know
am
if this will
shocked.
make my top 10.
because
I've been on the business end of some, you're just a Persona plebe arguments. So I get it.
I understand that, but I'm also looking at this. I'm like, I'm trying to separate the idea of Persona. And I'm like I said, if I compared this to Dragon Quest or Final Fantasy or insert turn-based JRPG here, or just JRPG here, there it is a lackluster world. There is not much to interact with. There is not much character development. There's not much to do besides the battles. So it's missing something to make it a rounded, full game experience. Like I keep saying, it's missing a personality. And I hate that the word persona is in the word personality, but is missing a personality. That is my trying to be objective assessment of the game. I'm going to keep playing it, but I'm going to stop and play Death's Door tomorrow instead. Bite me. JRPG
Fair.
can, like, take my card back. I don't care. I've been a card carrying member of the JRPG Weeb Society for years. I stand by my opinion on this one.
And that's okay.
I'm literally
that-
drinking
that-
out of an Avatar Last Airbender mug.
You don't
No,
have to
that-
like everything.
It's
Yeah.
good. It's good to hear criticism about a genre
A fan of.
like you don't have to like. It's like that's the thing. Like people,
Cognitive dissonance, my man.
some people think you have to like. It's like when the Game of the Year awards are announced. I have to play this. No, you don't. You didn't play it
No.
all year. So there's no
Yeah.
reason to play it in the next 2 weeks. You missed it for a reason. So
Right.
I gotta play it because it was nominated. Nah, fuck that.
No, you don't know. Like, oh, I gotta play this thing that I is completely outside my comfort zone that I'm really not interested because it was nominated for Game of the Year. No, you
Like,
don't.
like It Takes Two is nominated. When that came out the first time, I was just like, nah, fuck that. That ain't for me. I ain't playing that.
My thing
mean-
is, if you went back in time to, like, I don't know, the beginning of this year and told me I was only allowed to buy one, either Scarlet Nexus or
Tales of
SMT5.
Arise.
Oh, you
Well,
would have had
yeah.
a shitty year.
If between those two games, which one I
Mhm.
would have picked, I would have picked SMT5,
Of
and
course.
I would have made the wrong choice. Now I know that
You
now.
chose wrong.
How dare I?
Huge.
It's just,
She-
sometimes
she
games that you're not
chose
anticipating
poorly.
by surprise. Games that you are anticipating do not meet expectation. So I already know one thing that's going on my biggest miss list. Spoiler alert. I'm gonna keep playing it. I am enjoying it.
Mm.
It is just a little disappointing.
But you're easily swayed. Like I know games have come out this year, and you're like, oh, why did it come out? I need to finish this. And with this, you're like, nah, new game. I'm playing this. Fuck.
I mean, I will try to finish this, but I'm not gonna worry about, like, I'm not gonna wait to play Death's Door because I'm really excited for that. Hopefully, it's not another disappointment, but I don't think it will
Far out,
be.
Well,
I don't think it will be. It just looks so good to be a disappointment. Death Store.
Anybody mind if I go next?
I
Now
mind a
after you,
lot.
sir.
how dare
Okay.
you
Damn.
ask? That
Just trying to
nerve.
be
You
polite.
have some nerve.
Well, I
How
only have
dare
t-
you.
I only have two things to talk about because I was supposed to have a week off last week. 2 of those days ended up getting taken away, and it sucked. But I've been fisting.
Mm,
Yeah.
So
that what
let's
we're
talk.
going with?
I mean, I already did it, so
Yeah.
I hope.
I mean, that's the name of the episode, guys.
This is like one of
Fisted.
those weird commercials where
We're gonna
everyone
get,
says
like,
something
blown off YouTube.
inappropriate, and then they're saying, it's the dish detergent. We do it every night. We do it after dinner. It's like, huh? It's like, wash the dishes.
Clean the dishes. Yeah.
Oh. All right.
Anyway, so I've been fisting, and so as a big fan of the Metroidvanias, this one has been as intriguing as it has been frustrating, because sometimes it feels like no matter how much of the world you open, there's no quick way to get around.
No.
Been spoiled by Enda Lilies.
No, I've been spoiled by like Hollow Knight and Ender
I know.
Lilies,
No,
and
I think
and-
also
I was just making a recent reference.
I think
Sure.
We all played it.
Rayton moves slower
Oh,
as
yeah,
a character. And it makes it more
for being a
difficult.
rabbit, he needs a fucking run button.
I mean, look
honestly.
at the size of that fist he carrying, though, and he alone.
Sure, but he also double jumps with that thing on.
But
So-
rabbits can jump.
can they? I know they can hop
That's
and they
like
can move fast.
How? Okay,
But-
tell me the difference between a hop and a fucking jump.
Hop is just small, just
Yeah,
just boop, just
hop
a
is
boop.
small. Hop is
Where a
small
jump
and
is
quick.
like
I love how this
both
is the
feet
same
are
thing.
we just leaving the ground for a
That's-
longer time
That's
than
the
like
episode title. Just a
half a second. I thought
Story
you
Round
were
Zero,
Made my
episode
day.
95. Just the boop.
That just made my day. My day kind of sucked. That just made my fucking
just the
day.
boop.
I'm here for.
So the high praise, like this game looks fucking cool. The action sequences look amazing. The combat always is delightful to watch. The cutscenes are wonderful. The characters that have speaking lines are great. The way that they are really trying to compete with the Monster Hunter Meowscular chef cooking with this red panda whipping up noodles. Oh, it's a good time. It's a real good time. I like the music a lot. They really get me with handing out vinyl records, like, you know, you're hitting Matt where he lives. But I do not. That's my one thing. Like the fast travel is kind of obtuse and very minimal for what I feel like it could be. I'm not saying it should be like Ender Lilies where you could just go back.
I think my big problem with the fast travel was it's not clear. Like, yes, there could be more. They're very spaced out. And I think a patch at the end of my playtime added a few, but it's not clear where the hell you're going when you
it doesn't show you which one you're picking.
It's more like Moose, think like Warcraft, like, hey, do you want to go to Kalimdor or Azor? Like, no, I want a specific one. Nope, you get to pick one of the other continents and we'll choose.
Yeah.
It's like not, I need to go up here. Nope, no, we're putting you all the way at the bottom of the level.
And then like early on, you're given like, well, and I will say this, the main fast travel that I've used is the teleporting system.
Yes.
But the teleporting system is, I don't know why they call it teleporting when these things are obviously fucking catapults. Because they put you into a hamster ball.
No, they're like those old school bank things, like the that suck up
the pneumatic tube
system.
Okay.
Old school, they still have those.
Oh yeah. I mean,
hospitals still use those to transport meds around. In fact.
Cool.
But
actually, I saw a video. Someone has one in their house for a laundry chute. There's a pneumatic tube that sends it right to the laundry room. I'm like, we need that.
That seems like
afraid of the laundry
that seems superfluous. But I think it looks really cool. But I wish, like, again, looking at the map, especially when you have to take the subway early on.
That one legit doesn't tell you which stop is where, and when you get more than a few of them,
like if you hit the touchpad, you can see the map, you can see where you are, and it looks like a Metroidvania map. You're looking at this map on the subway, it's like they've decided to create a topographic overworld, and they just say West Side, Ocean View, which is like nobody's called any of these places these names. So I don't know what to do.
It's like, go to this armory, and then like you find out, oh, you're supposed to take it to Ocean View. I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. But that said, I did like learning while I was headed to the final area and deciding to do all of the area cleanup before. So like last night around 10 o'clock, I learned that you could move faster underwater when you hold circle. There was no real clear delineation.
I think there was a tip at one point that said to do it.
Oh, well, then I missed that tip, but I learned that, and I'm like, oh wow, I can do all this really fast now. So I've visited 100% of all the areas. I found everything that I could up to this point. I tried that barrel puzzle, like fuck that thing.
No. When the barrels come at you and you're supposed to combo,
it's in the range. Like there's one that's just deliberately like, yep, and we're just gonna fuck your day up because we can. It seems very cheap.
I would liken it to the Titanfall 2 Gauntlet. You have to be like, you have no room for error.
Yeah.
Nothing beats the fucking seafood training master level shit though.
Are you talking about the guy in Joffrey Street that just tells you to do his combos or whatever?
Yes. And I'm talking about the highest level of that training.
Yeah, I've done 2 of those 4. And
It's how you max out the skill tree.
Yeah, I was kind of working on that before I went to bed last night. I do like that, mainly because I like doing it in Guacamelee. It's very reminiscent of that. I do like that they use a couple of the tutorials to sort of train you to how to move counterclockwise around the skills, or clockwise, like just so that they say, hey, like, hey, you can use L2 to go one way and L1 to go the other way, because that wasn't made very clear to me either. But this game is really cool. I like the story. I do like the Dirty Dozenness of it. I think that's the correct reference, or at least that's what I'm thinking of. It's kind of Dirty Dozen, Wild Bunch, like a whole bunch of hardened warriors have kind of been laying low for a time, and they decided to get back together because the town needs their help. The dialogue between all of them is very nice. Fuck that rat guy who was in the wheelchair.
Yeah, that's the first, to me, that was the first like big boss.
Yeah, he's a dickhead. Glad I put him in the ground the way I did. And I think what was I gonna say? I do like the different abilities, like the drill, the fist, and the whip. I do like how those change up any one encounter. I have gotten into the habit of switching between things during an encounter to try and fuck things up in more creative ways. It's a very nicely designed game. It's very fun, and I kind of wish we had more of the. I would like to see from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Remember Usagi Yojimbo? I would kind of like to see a game centered around him that looks like this, rather than just looking like the Turtles. I think that would be cool. But that's a lot of fun. China Hero Project is real cool, y'all.
Yeah,
Michaela
I mean,
will tell ya.
it's a good first project for that. I mean, I don't think there's any major issues. I mean, gripes here and there. Like I felt the Metroidvania was misleading in that Ender Lilies made it clear when you couldn't, like, you saw this cliff that you knew you had to reach, but you're like, no, I can't get this. This made it seem like you could get there, and it wasn't like, so there's one secret behind one of the electrified like walls, and at the early point when you find it, you're like, how the fuck do I get through this? Like, and you don't, and then it's kind of like, if you don't remember that when you get the ability, then you're like, oh, I gotta go all the way back. But like, chances are, if you didn't remember it was there, I mean, obviously the map gives you percentages,
right?
But like, it's one of those, like, this, it's not, I think a lot of things weren't clear. Like,
I think it's just quality of life. Like, it's the hallmark of a young studio. It's missing some quality of life.
Like, you missed some tips that shouldn't have just been like been able to bypass. Like, it should have been clearer that you could swim faster.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say that. And if I were doing a scored review system, I don't think I would dock points for that. I would just say, hey, just bear in mind this is a thing. They present it, but you might miss it if you're not paying attention. And that's could be that. I think that's sort of could be missed on both sides, sort of thing.
Also, I wanted to walk this back real quick to answer a question you asked in the chat, and I wasn't able to talk about it last Monday. You asked Metroid or SMT, and I'm saying, if you are not Metroidvania'd out, I would highly, highly recommend, and you can only buy one right now, highly recommend Metroid Dread. And that's not just because I'm feeling meh on SMT5, because it is still a decent turn-based system to engage with, but Metroid Dread drips quality. and
Okay.
it is so sound and
Mm-hmm.
so good. It is a must play for Switch owners, in my opinion, minus young and beginner gamers, because it is challenging.
Sure.
So
Okay.
to answer the question you asked like 2 weeks ago.
Yes. The other game I've been playing is I got involved in the Halo Infinite multiplayer. Originally, I wasn't sure I cared, but then I saw it was on Game Pass, and some people in the Uppercut Discord were talking about playing it. I'm like, you know what? I'll fucking play some Halo multiplayer. I did not expect this shit to be as fun as it fucking is. I know the way that a lot of folks talk about Fortnite. They sort of get on, play some video games, hang out with their bros, and just chit chat. It was very nice to just hang out and talk with people playing a shooter that somehow I still have relatively internalized, even though I've not engaged with it in damn near 12 years. I still think that Master Chief's jump in Halo multiplayer is probably the best jump since Mario. And that's probably because I, am not a gaming historian or a PhD level game discusser, we'll call it.
Get out.
Nah, I'll stay. But it was fun to get into some bullshit. I replied to a tweet today from Mr. Badbit, and he was talking about how you could grapple onto an airship and steal it. And and I've tried that several times, failed every single time, but have never come away with anything short of howling laughter. I would say that if you have Game Pass, play this. If you like first person shooters at all, especially when they're pretty easy to pick up. There's a lot of the Halo weapons that I just don't remember what they do, which is fine. There's a lot of new things they have added. It was cool to pick up the sword my first match and kill someone and then immediately get attacked by everyone on the other team. Playing Oddball was a good time. I would say play this if you like first person shooters at all. And I just realized I'm forgetting a very massive third game that I played with Moose the other day. We played Helldivers like it was 2015.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, baby.
It was Moose, his buddy Sneaky, and I. And attempt one, we're getting into bullshit.
I was like, this is. I told Sneaky, I said, you think Demon Souls is a meme fest? Just buckle up, let's go, buddy. This is some kind of
I do like that lessons of old have still been learned, because when I said, hey, should I bring the motorcycle, all I got was laughter, not a
yeah.
But Helldivers is still fucking good. I might pick it up on Steam and just start playing it on my PC, just because it would be nice to do some of that again. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. Before we move on, I just want to say a couple things. I had a birthday this past week, and the weekend.
Birthday.
Thank you. The weekend that I had of playing games has probably been some of the best, like, solid 3 days worth of just sitting at a console or my PC that I've had in a very long time. And so I would say, if anything, play these 3 games because they're very fun. Jason or Moose?
You know, Moose.
So to piggyback on what Matt was talking about, I played Halo tonight for about an hour. Because not only is it on Game Pass, which you'll get the campaign, The multiplayer is free, so you
Mhm.
can get that on PC. So I'm playing it on Steam. Runs great, looks good, controls are good. I'm playing with the 8-bit do Pro 2 controller, loving it. That thing just continues to wow me. I love that controller. Like it is so good. Pick it up if you can. And I highly recommend getting the 2 and not the Pro Plus, just because the back panel buttons are awesome, especially for reload and jumping, and it just makes it easier. Learn some things about the kids out there playing shooters these days. They don't know about the strength of a rifle to the face.
No, plenty of
So
people
the
forget that.
melee attack is just so good. Like you were talking about the jump. I want to say that the melee attack with Halo is top tier.
Oh,
Like it's up
definitely.
there. It might not be the best, like I wouldn't want to say it's the best melee attacks in something, but it's up there because you're running around and a guy like comes at you and you're shooting him and his shield goes down, all of a sudden just boom, you pop that melee attack, the rifle comes up, butt of the rifle to the face and he's dead, or you used to take a shield down and then just wail on him with
Switch
the
to the pistol, pop him.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. It's crazy. The maps, trying to learn the maps is a good time, but I had a blast with it as well. And it has been a while since I've touched Halo. I haven't played Halo since I did play 4. So that was like what, 2012, 2013 maybe.
Sounds about right.
So it's
That
been
was the
a while.
first 3-4-3 one, right?
I believe you're right. Yes.
Okay.
And I didn't hate it. Like I liked
Right.
it and I thought the story was good. I didn't do a lot of multiplayer. So this, I could see myself jumping on and doing a couple rounds with people. Like you and I get a free night. We're like, hey, let's play some Halo and just jump in and run around and shoot stuff. Anyways, so played a bunch of that. You also mentioned Helldivers, so that checks that off the list. I'm making lists now. I also played. I'm checking it twice. Played more Demon Souls co-op with Razzie. We got the plat, so Sneaky got his plat, I got my plat, and Razzie got his. So Demon Souls goes on the back burner until next year. Probably when PS5s become more readily available and people start playing again, because I think I mentioned it before, but I've talked about it with Razzie. It's sad how that game in 1 year of its life cycle is at the point where Dark Souls 3 is like, well, shoot, that'll be what, 5 years? It's been 2016 was just 2016 for Dark Souls 3. So in 5, it's like there's like I can run around. So for those who don't know, real quick, I can run around in human form, which is how you get invaded in Demon Souls, and not see anybody anywhere. Like if I just pick to play, it's rare that I get invaded, and so I'm like, this is kind of like disappointing. But anyways, after that, I bought a little known game called Scarlet Nexus. So I have been eyeing it ever since Michaela's been singing its praise, because it, like, the combat looks really good, and I like things that are off the wall. Like this was like, she likes to do her years of like, a year, like I'm gonna do first person shooters because I don't play this. Like I'm just like, this is my game for the year where I'm gonna pick up something that I wouldn't normally play, and it is awesome. It is a lot of fun. The combat is engaging. I feel like it's not punishing to the point where if you don't spend time to learn all of it, you're going to suffer when fighting bosses. But I do feel there is a level of knowledge with the combat where if you actually master it, you can become really good at the game. Like I think I'm kind of like in the middle, like middle lower going towards like should really spend more time learning it, which I want to do, but I'm definitely not like bad at it, but I'm definitely not really good at it. Some of the enemies are really weird. Like I think it's the Vaz Paws. I think it is, where it's the hind legs of a cat and like a vase with like flowers sticking out of it, and it's got a tail, and you're just like, okay, like, all right, here we go. And
What Persona enemies look like, Moose.
That's pretty much what I called them. They're like SMT Persona nightmares that eat people's brains.
Don't do that. I don't know these things. I don't play Persona, which I would like. That might go on the backlog list for next year. Who knows? We don't know what's going to happen with that.
Well, P5 is free, man. With your PS5.
Yes, I have a copy of it.
Yeah, that's free.
But Jason could have helped us make Michaela suffer, but he chose not to.
That fucking episode title for last week, man.
That was good.
You guys are unsupervised for 1 hour.
Actually, it was for like 4 days, but
so you can play as two different characters. I'm playing as the female character who seems to be like a robot with like no fucking emotions.
Tsundere.
And I'm like,
Tsundere.
I'm like, why are you like to the extreme a robot? But anyways,
I have a question. Where are you at in the story? Like, how far have you made it? Like, what just happened most recently?
So I'm about 5 hours in, and I did the training mission that the one guy wants us to do, where you pick the teams.
Mm-hmm.
And then my character decides to, like, instead of like trying to go to the flag and beat him at the flag, just and smartly find a weak point and then just, ambush the person that has the flag and take it from them. So I just did that, and I was gonna go do, I think, a side quest real quick, but that's about where I'm at. So I think, wait, no. Did I do another? There was another mission after that where something happens to your sister. Is that after that or during that? Yeah, is that after that or during that?
I believe that is after that.
So then I'm there. I'm like getting back to like, quote unquote, the hub. But like I said, combat's cool. Skill tree is pretty cool. And unlocking that, like you could like, there's some areas like you kind of Metroid-ish. Like there's an area where you have to get something to turn it into a guy, but you need a double jump to get up over the gate. And you can unlock that with your skill tree. So that's cool. I like the way how people in your party, you can use, quote unquote, their power. And like one guy has electricity, so you do electricity attacks. One person is like fire. I like the clairvoyance chick. She's pretty cool, which allows you to see invisible. Yeah, it allows you to see invisible enemies. And there's areas where there's fog, so it clears up the fog. So it's really cool how they worked that into it. And so I'm just looking forward to playing more of it. When I'm done, I might look at the plat, and it probably won't be this year. I'm hoping to beat the game before the end of the year, or before our game of the year discussion, which I need to work. I have all next week off after Thanksgiving to play, so I probably will play a lot of it. But I'm probably going to platinum this. Like I'm looking at
like
having
a 50-hour plat for me, and that was like 40 to 45 out of those 50 hours were just playing through both characters' story.
Yeah. So okay. Yeah. So I don't think it'd be that tough. It just, like you said, just be playing it. You know what I mean? It's not like
the only thing I had to do after beating both stories was grind the last several levels of XP to max the skill tree.
Okay.
That was the only thing I really had to clean up.
Throw on some music and just sit there, and I'll just just veg out for while I do it. And then the last game I've been playing is Ghost Recon Breakpoint, which I am at 44 out of 51 trophies. I'm getting close to the plat. I'm not that far from the plat. I will probably have the platinum before the end of the month. That I've been playing solo. I played with my buddy Sneaky. Which, Jason, I think you're gonna like Sneaky. I added him to our party chat group, but I think you're gonna like him because he likes to troll me a lot, just as much as you guys do. So we were flying in a helicopter. And like, I don't know what I was doing. I just really wasn't, because he's flying for like 7.5 kilometers or whatever. And I'm like, okay. So I'm just sitting there and I'm like tooling around on the phone because he's flying. I'm like, we could just fast travel. No, I want to take this nice helicopter. We could fast travel. I want to take this nice helicopter. I'm like, they're all over the place. You can get a nice helicopter somewhere else. Couldn't break it. He's like, I want that. I'm like, okay, fine. So we get going and we're almost there. And all of a sudden I hear beep, 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 beep. And I'm like, oh, are we parachuting? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, so I go to jump out of the plane. My character jumps out of the plane, literally falls for 2 seconds. And as I'm pulling the parachute, buries into a building, just right into the top of the building. I'm like, and he just starts laughing. And I'm like, you son of a bitch. So then we were doing a mission later. And he was like, oh, this is a really nice helicopter. Pulled out the C4, slapped it on the side of it, walked around. We did the mission, came back, and he's like, oh, you ready to leave? I'm like, yeah. Hit the C4 and blew up the helicopter on the other side of the map because we started at one end. Usually you start at one end and move your way through the base. And he's like, why'd you do that? And I said, that's for not telling me we're jumping out of the helicopter and let me get buried in a building.
But he just jumped out, not really deceiving you. You weren't paying attention. I would have drove that helicopter with me in the pilot seat right into the ground. I would have sacrificed myself just to watch you suffer.
I just want to comment the fact that Moose said, wow, this is a nice helicopter. And it reminded me of Bullet Tooth Tony from Snatch. Wow, that's a nice tie.
That's a nice tie you got there.
Sadly ironic. This tie's gotten you into this pickle. I do bad English accents, but I fucking love Snatch. I don't care. Continue.
So that has mainly been what I'm doing. I only got a couple trophies. One of them's a collection one, which I'll go, I'll watch and do that real quick. The one I'm having trouble with, Jason, you know how like quote unquote Ubisoft games like Far Cry, they have the shoot 2 people within a certain amount of time from so much distance away, or whatever. They have this with the sniper rifle. I might have to switch sniper rifles, but I got the best sniper rifle in the game. And every single time, it's also a bolt action. So every single time, the second dude I go to kill, with a headshot, it ducks behind cover or moves ever so slightly. And I'm like, I can't dial it in fast enough. So I got to watch a video on how to get that. And that might be my last trophy before I pop platinum. But anyways, it's a lot of fun. I haven't even gotten into the new DLC that's come out, which basically redoes the whole game. And you also get a camo suit, which is awesome. You get a camouflage suit, which you can level up and pretty much be invisible, which is I have to say my favorite trophy so far is one. I think it's called Snap Turtle or whatever. So basically you have to, when you're laying on the ground and prone, you can put on camo, which means because there's drones and helicopters that fly overhead. And so with the drones, you actually need to put the camo on so the drone doesn't detect you and send the wolves after you, which is the name of the tough bad guys, the hardcore bad guys in the game. And so you basically have to do a close quarter combat kill from prone to get it. And I basically shot a dude trying to get into a base, and another guy saw it and he walked 200, 300 feet out to the edge of the road, was looking around. I'm like, here's my chance. So I crawled over behind him, went prone into cover, and he would have literally walked on top of me. And I got the prompt before he did and was able to kill him in time. But yeah, it's a good time. The game's a lot of fun. Also, this will probably be something I put on the back burner once I platinum, unless I play it co-op with Jeff, which I'm looking forward to. It's a fun game. It's when I first started it, I liked Wildlands better. I like this better than Wildlands. This is way better than Wildlands. But anyways, that's the games I played this week.
Cool.
Jason, what about you? What you been up to, man?
Well, I've been playing more Call of Duty and having a blast. Making people angry in multiplayer. Normally I mute everyone immediately just because I don't want to hear I just
I had
don't
the
wanna deal with
same.
it.
I had to get reintroduced to that bullshit plan Halo.
It's
But
one of two things. It's either someone yelling at a kid or it's dubstep, like
Oh,
real loud.
but
mhm.
so the one mode I love hate is free for all. It's 8 people. There's no teams. But I have this new perk, forward intel. It shows where spawns are happening. I managed to get this one guy, I kid you not, 7 times in a row. I've never seen someone so angry in Call of Duty.
Did he
And
send you a message?
No, but he's like, this bad
Yeah.
word keeps spawning behind me. Again, this mother. I'm like, okay. And then I was like, you know what? Nah, fuck it. So then I picked him off with a sniper shot at the end, and I messaged him like, well, I felt bad I spawned behind you. So he goes, you motherfucker, that was awesome. I'm like,
Nice.
um,
Nice.
no, I'm having a blast with that. I maxed out one operator. I think I unlocked all of them but one. I'm almost max rank. Um, zombie mode is a lot of fun because they changed it up how it works. You go on like these like not missions, but like there's a hub and you keep going. The rounds are not like it's not like the old one where you just have to keep defending. You go off and do something and then go back to the hub. So playing that, I won a round in Inscryption, and
Nice.
I need to find someone who's beaten the game so I could talk about this because this is like Trigger Witch level of
Oh shit.
Ooh.
I won this
All right,
round and then I was just like, what
all right.
the
Hang
fuck
on.
just happened?
Mm.
Because at first I was like, oh, I beat the game. No. This is like, I think Michaela would refer to it as like that JRPG batshit craziness. This something happened. I'm like, what the fuck? So that was cool. Yeah, I'm loving this game. I can't wait to maybe finish it. I want to see where it goes. Like this story is just nuts.
Cool.
And I made a Black Friday purchase. Well, early Black Friday.
Ooh.
I decided to buy MLB The Show.
Nice.
Yep, I am.
Oh, I was able to get a steelbook version of Elden Ring, I think. So yeah.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had that
Um,
conversation. Yeah, that's
We
good.
did.
Yeah. I am currently playing for the Yankees AA affiliate, which is extra cool, not just because I'm a Yankee fan, because you get to choose who you play, what team you want to start with. You don't necessarily get drafted by them, but the AA affiliate in the past 2 years changed. They play 5 minutes from the house. So I
Oh,
know
wow.
the stadium. Like I drive past the stadium to pick the girls up from school. Like
Mhm.
it's right. So it's like
Nice.
cool playing like on that team, like seeing the stadium and like when they do the zoom in of the, it's like pretty cool. I'm like, hey, there's the target. No, having a blast that, and you can do it where you speed up the game so you only play like your plate appearances. You could skip
Mhm.
fielding, you could skip base running. So it's pretty
Oh,
cool
nice.
that I could just drop in. A game takes me about 10 minutes maybe,
Dang.
Okay.
Nice.
depending on if like we're in a route. Um so that's fun, and you like skill up and then hopefully get drafted to or move up because you start in AA ball.
Yeah.
And like Aria thought it was cool because my name is one of the audio cues in game, my first and last name. So like when I go up to bat, like the announcer actually says my full name. So Aria was like playing Sonic and she looked over, she's like, did the game say your name?
Mm. Yes. Yes, it did.
You're like, yes, my dear, I'm a big deal in baseball. No
Um,
crying, but I'm a big deal
No
in
crying in baseball.
baseball.
Crying?
movie of all
You're
time.
crying?
It's a great movie.
Did anybody
Yes,
ever
it
tell
did,
you
man.
you look like a little penis with that hat on?
Mm.
Gotta finish the scene, man.
Yeah, no, having a blast with that. Yeah, that's about it.
Cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
Some news happened.
Yeah, there was some news. There was a few things. Battlefield 2042 is one of the most played games on Steam while also being in the top 10 worst reviewed games of all time on Steam.
it's bad.
30,000 out of 42,000 reviews are negative.
Yeah.
I've seen overwhelming positive. I don't think I've ever seen an overwhelming negative. And Halo's multiplayer, that surprise drop last week, is not helping Battlefield.
No, it is not.
No, it is
No.
not. I think Call of Duty kind of survives in that it's smaller scale, so you kind of know like the type you're getting versus like Battlefield. You were playing for that large scale. Call of Duty's only like 8-on-8, like so it's
Mhm.
definitely. So I think it kind of helps. And Call of Duty's got its own issues, but
True.
Halo definitely is not helping
No,
Battlefield.
no.
One of my favorite games of all time, Dead Cells, got a pretty impressive update. You can
Jesus
now
Christ.
play, and they completed the list because they were teasing it. You can now play in game as Juan from Guacamelee,
Yes.
understudy dude from Curse of the Dead Gods,
Not quite ready for the woodcut,
Skull the Hero Slayer,
which is dope.
Hollow Knight,
Hmm.
Yeah.
the dude from Blasphemous. Yeah, the dude from Blasphemous was kind of out of. I was like, what? Really? And Hyperlight Drifter.
Nice.
And they
Nice.
all I haven't tried it. It's not on PlayStation yet. I checked today, but so I downloaded the PC version. That has the update. The weapons stay the same, but I think they basically changed it up so the animations. So Juan is still melee, even if he
Mhm.
equips something, just to kind of like. So you basically becomes a stat stick, but you still see him do his animations from his game.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's cool. I'll definitely explore that this week. One of Matt's favorite game series, Hitman 3, is getting a huge update in 2022. They're getting
Hitman
PC
Year 2.
PC VR,
Yeah.
ray tracing, which is
Yeah.
big.
Well, okay. Yeah, sure. I don't care about that.
Let me finish.
I'm excited.
New maps, an arcade mode.
I think you're referring to the Elusive Target arcade.
Yes, Elusive Target arcade.
So now I read the post. It doesn't really go into full details, but I'm hoping this is kind of like the Twilight missions in Neo, where an elusive target is only around for like a set period of time, and then it gets taken out, but it'll be recycled back in a few weeks. I feel like that's the way to do it.
They announced that it's a permanent mode, so my guess is it's going to be something that's like you said, it'll be cycled. It's always there, but like
Yeah.
you might if it's still elusive in the sense that if you miss it, you have to wait like
Mhm.
6 weeks or however many there are. Maybe it like cycles once a week or something.
And I kept up with the elusive targets for a good long time, but eventually just time and work and life got the better of me to where I couldn't anymore. So I would love to have a way to play the ones that I've missed.
They said
And go back and play old ones.
January 2022, we'll get more details, and then spring/March will be a major update.
Nice.
Yeah. Which I kind of like the idea that this is the future of Hitman for right now, rather than just going a whole new game. Because all they have to really do is just put a 47 player model, give it a bit of a fluffy story, and just say, hey, go kill some shit.
Plus, we haven't heard anything from them about their James Bond game yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like Sony decided to patent their own faceplates after all that drama with that studio that was the creator that was making faceplates.
D-plates.
We all knew this was coming.
Yeah.
It's not official though, right? Somebody just found the patent or something.
Yeah, they found the patent.
Well, I think D-plates mentioned it because they were like, sue us, Sony.
Yeah.
And then they took their plates down and people were like, ooh, you back down. And it's like, no, we had to because they were actually filing a patent for their faceplates, which they didn't have. That's why we were like, go ahead and sue us because you don't have a patent on it. So we can do whatever the hell we want. And that's why they had to redesign them. So
now watch, Sony does a
traction
patent
now.
Doesn't do anything with it.
Oh,
right.
They will. That's easy money.
Oh, well, see, this is my thing.
Companies do
this ain't Nintendo.
True.
See, they're on the opposite end of the spectrum. Nintendo does a lot of customization stuff and limited stuff. And then you got Microsoft kind of in the middle where they do the customization. They've got the lab where you can build your own controller with whatever colors you want. And then Sony's on the other side that's here's a black controller and a red controller, and that's it. Oh, you mean these plates are real easy for us to take off the sides? Why would we want to give you an option to make it more personal, like your own? And take money. We're basically saying, Sony, take our money, and they're just they're moving at a sloth pace to get it done. And it's
I think you got to think about it though. They're used to selling special edition consoles for the PS4 bundles. They've had them for anniversary editions, special game launches, all that stuff, different colored ones. They probably would like to cash in on selling you an entire new PS5 instead of just the faceplates. But because the faceplates are so easily removable, people are going to want to customize that way. And we are still in a pandemic where it's hard enough to get the regular PS5s made and sold.
And
I
also,
mean, the Halo Infinite one, the special edition of that Xbox, it's sold out in no time, and it's up for thousands of dollars, scalpers.
Well, I was gonna say Xbox. Sure, they announce all these cool controllers, the design lab, but they cost a small fortune. Some of those.
Yeah, see, I don't know the cost because I haven't looked at customized mail controller.
The Mandalorian one they just announced is $180. It's not even a pro controller.
Oh, I was gonna say, is it a pro controller? But apparently not. No, see, yeah, I would just appreciate just being hey, here's some other colors. Oh, if you want it all black, here's some black ones. Here's some gray ones. I mean, I was discussing it with Jeff, and I'm I actually kind of want the new D-plate ones because it rounds off the top and gets rid of the fins, and then it also puts vents, it cuts out the part and puts venting in for the fans to have a better job of venting. And I'm that's actually a better design, I feel, than Sony's. But anyways,
it's funny that Nintendo is the cheapest of options for alternate controllers of the three. We all have gripes about Nintendo, yet look how many different colored Joy-Cons you can get, or the Power A, or the Hori, the different,
or even just the different pro controllers. They cost more than the regular pro controller.
Yeah, that's true.
So now that Smash Brothers is kind of ending, other companies seem to have discovered the fighter genre, the brawler.
The brawler, yeah.
I don't understand. So Warner Brothers announced the Multiversus fighter, It's free to play. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, the character roster's pretty cool. Like we're talking like Scooby-Doo, Bugs Bunny, Superman, like, but it's also like guys are a little late to the party.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The game I mentioned before, the Game Awards, the nominees are available to view on the website.
Look at those. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I haven't looked at them either.
Yeah, me either.
I have a theory that because every year Jeff Keighley says this is the most announcements we always have. I think he caps it every year and keeps a tally so he knows.
He just has to add one.
He just, yeah, he
And then
basically
it's
says,
closed.
no, like they put the show together. He was like, so we have 60 announcements. He goes, no, guys, we had 60 last year. We need one more. This is the
Yeah.
most we've ever had. It's like, I mean, the Game Awards are now kind of like a E3 type show. In a
I'm there
sense,
for the
like,
trailers.
Oh,
and
yeah,
Which,
no.
which,
Green Day
which
flipping
is
off the camera.
nice.
oh, it's
And
cool.
And not only
definitely-
just the trailers, you also get like this game's available now, or this game's available like next Tuesday, or you know what I mean? Like you
I
get
look
some
at
really
it for the
cool-
entertainment value more
Yeah.
than giving a single shit about the award.
right. Like,
I mean,
on
yeah,
one hand, I think it's good to give recognition in the industry, but
Sure.
I feel that gamers, as terrible people as we all are, they make it like if it's not in the category, it's not a good game. So like you'll have the discussion next year, like, hey, did you play X game? And it's like, no, it wasn't in the Game of Year awards, so it's not good. It's like,
Yeah.
what? But like the Game
Yeah.
of Year, the most categories are like 5 to 6 games. We've all played more than 5 to 6 games. Like, obviously, they're not all going to be in there.
How many games come out a week? Like,
I know, seriously.
I do
Yeah.
like the Game Awards' ability to occasionally elevate attention for a smaller game. Like, not to say it's a small game, but Hades got a lot of attention last year when it was nominated in like 9 fucking categories. So it can and Celeste had a similar.
Celeste was a
windfall.
Game of the Year nomination.
Yes. So I
So-
like what it does sometimes, occasionally for indies and some double A's. And I like the trailers and the announcements. Although I think we all can admit last year's show was kind of not as entertaining as some others in the past. Wasn't as
I
fun.
mean,
But to
It
be
was a little
fair,
lackluster. A lot of the
it was in
trailers.
a pandemic. I mean,
It was in a pandemic, but a lot of the reveals weren't reveals. You know what I mean?
well, I
Yeah.
think with
But the Game Awards
reveals-
is also a place that gives us those like moments where you kind of don't get anywhere else except for E3, like when you had all 3 of the big bosses on stage together, and when you had that guy get really drunk on the camera and stuff like that.
Mhm.
There's always like at least one crazy or the all right, say it, boy. Like we all remember it. It's a moment of like
or Sonic Fox saying, "I'm basically every Republican's worst nightmare." Like-
yes, that was another one.
But like, I mean, for an industry that's primarily online, I mean, reveal leaks are going to happen. Like, look at, like, yes, nobody really believed Halo was coming out last week, but I think I heard as early as the previous Wednesday saying, "Oh, Halo multiplayer Monday," and everyone was like, "No, no," and then there was reports that it wasn't. And so, but I mean, but the Game Awards, like, there's no shocks as to the nominees. So I mentioned earlier, but like when people are like, I need to play this game in the next week. It's like, no, you don't. You missed it for a reason. I mean, sure, there are games during the year like you miss because you've been playing other things, but like you missing, like I use It Takes Two. It Takes Two is not my type of game. I'm not gonna play it because it's nominated now. Like that's
Right.
just like, sure, it might be a phenomenal game, but there are phenomenal games that are not for everyone.
You know, if we ever got to a place where we were doing Extra Life in the same spot, I would like to play It Takes Two with you, Jason.
Okay. I'm not. I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't necessarily. I wouldn't hate it. It just didn't. It's not a game that's like, oh, I have to play this.
Sure.
Like you look at the list and you're like, I mean, surprisingly, I think I've played most of the nominees.
Mhm.
I gotta look at this right now. I don't even know what the fuck is nominated.
Like, we're
for
not
Game
gonna
of
go
Year.
over the whole. I just want.
I just gotta look at the
game.
Game of the Year
Yeah.
category. Game Awards.
While you look that up,
I think it's
G-
Deathloop
yeah.
and a bunch of others.
While she looks it up, GTA Trilogy, they've had a week,
Oh man.
but
He deserved the week, though.
Only a week?
Rockstar has relisted the old trilogy, which was delisted when this came out. So you can buy the what was originally up there, because apparently they delisted all the versions. I mean, good on them for that, but like
No, I thought they said they were giving them away. You said they were giving them away free for
there was
PC
something if
owners?
you bought it on PC at
Yeah.
a certain and you didn't own it. But I guess you
Yeah.
couldn't buy the old ones, the versions that were on there.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, because
Like
they
we, like
delisted
me
them.
and you own all three. They weren't packaged on PS4. You couldn't
Yeah,
buy them, I
no,
guess.
yeah.
Um,
Like I can go download them, but yeah, you can't buy them.
By the way, so Game of the Year is Deathloop, It Takes Two, Metroid Dread. Love to see that nominated.
Mhm.
Psychonauts 2, kind of random. Ratchet and Clank and RE Village.
people, I did hear people were more upset about Village than anything else.
Village, I think, deserves a nomination. Psychonauts 2 surprises me the most out of this list. Personally,
I feel like of those, it was the least talked about.
yes.
Not that it wasn't talked about at all,
I
but
think
it was just
I think Psychonauts 2 got really high praise and was talked
Mhm.
about, but for about a week.
yeah. Then
Yes, it
once the next
fizzled.
release date came around, it
Once
was
the
it was
next
gone.
big game. So
I know
Um,
JRPGs never get nominated, but I would have loved to see Tails get in here. It deserves it, but whatever.
Or even Scarlet Nexus.
Yeah, but like I said, JRPGs don't get nominated for shit
No.
unless it's Final Fantasy.
Right.
Saints Row was delayed. I don't want to say indefinitely, but they said now 22-23 financial year. So it could be delayed anywhere from April till March 2023. We don't know. It was an odd way they worded it, which makes me think it's a longer delay than not. And we got an exact date on Sifu, February 8th.
Nice.
Which actually moved it up from, it was supposed to be the 22nd.
Okay, yeah, I
Yes.
thought we had a February
Yeah.
date.
Mhm.
So it's still
did,
in
yeah.
in that month of everything, but now it's not.
They moved it
directly-
up.
It's not directly. It's probably because it was directly competing against. No, well, maybe not competing, but Horizon was 3 days later, and they're both Sony
They're
exclusives.
both Sony exclusives, yeah. And this game has, and it continues to be discounted for Plus if you are interested in
Yeah.
pre-ordering. I haven't pulled that trigger because there's so much other shit coming out at that time, but
What, Sifu?
just saying for anybody who's
Yeah.
interested, yes, Sifu is constantly at like always discounted for PS Plus pre-order.
Yeah, for the pre-order. Yeah.
Yeah, that's 2022.
Not that there's not enough on sale right now.
No.
Yeah.
no, not at all.
Yeah.
I totally
Yeah.
didn't buy Guardians of the Galaxy, Mass Effect, Deathloop, and
Jesus.
Divinity Original Sin all for 40 to 60% off. I got all 4 of those games for the price of 2 full price games. Black Friday.
Nice though. That's good. Yeah.
Nice. I haven't even looked at those sales.
Don't.
I don't think I should.
Don't.
Some of them are physical. Like I got Guardians for $30 physical PS5.
Okay.
I don't
Deathloop,
even think it's on.
25.
I don't think it's on sale anymore, but Scarlet Nexus was on sale, and I think it ended right before the Black Friday. But I
Well,
looked at the Black
yeah.
Friday and was like,
Some
You
of them
get,
are
like, a
physical
bunch of
though. Don't
this.
just look at the store.
Yeah, the big thing
Yeah.
with Switch games, a number of
Yeah.
first-party Switch games were $26, which was actually surprising.
That never
Yeah, which is
that's
really
like-
good.
I was
Mhm.
kind of hoping for Skyward Sword, but that
too new.
No.
Too new. I can't believe I realized what I said after I said it.
Well,
Link's
Awake-
I wonder
Link's Awakening was in that deal for
Yeah.
26, but Skyward Sword was 49.
Meanwhile,
wonder if
I got
Sony's-
Guardians of the Galaxy for $30. It's been out less than a month.
Yeah.
But
Nintendo, where you at?
my favorite part of this time of year is when new games go on sale because of Black Friday, and the immediate response is, "Yeah, the game sucked." It's like,
No, it's
No.
because these publishers know how to make that money, and it's the
Mhm.
ones that can afford to do it. Like Square Enix is not hurting at all.
Right.
No, they
right.
got like a rather large game we'd like to call Final Fantasy 14, which brings them in, money. So
And
They're
also,
fucking
like-
everything.
Also,
Oh,
if they mark the price down for 2 to 3 weeks, not gonna,
Drop in the
Personal.
bucket.
yeah.
because it's just stupid. It's just. But you know why? Because gamers.
It's not all about you.
Bye.
At Story Route Zero, we have some cool friends who do some cool things, and I'd like to tell you about them. Phoenix Overdrive uses the power of games and gamers to help heal sick kids through the charity Extra Life. Phoenix Overdrive fundraises for Children's Miracle Network hospitals all year, every year, and the fund culminates in a 24-hour gaming marathon. Find out more about their events and projects online via Facebook at facebook.com/Phoenix Overdrive or on Twitter and Instagram at PHX_Overdrive. You can also join the Facebook group of Pawn Stars at facebook.com/groups/PO Nation in order to share and discuss all the latest in nerd culture. They've also got a podcast, Nerd Overdrive, which you can see weekly at youtube.com/Phoenix Overdrive. You can also catch it on Facebook Live or twitch.tv/PHX_Overdrive. That podcast is also published on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Stitcher. You want merch? They got merch. Merch can be ordered from tinyurl.com/PHXOD-merch, a portion of which goes to their fundraising efforts. Join the nation and be a hero to sick kids, as El Capitan Rey Osorio, Lee the Maestro, and Becky, the lovely queen of the guild, always say, #Rise Above. Thank you for listening to Story Route Zero. We hope you have enjoyed your time here as much as we've enjoyed having you. Once again, questions, concerns, complaints, pictures of pets, or favorite recipes can be sent to storyroute0@gmail.com. You can yell at us on Twitter at StoryRoute0. Rate us and review us on iTunes, YouTube, or wherever you may have found us, as it helps with discoverability. If you'd like to hit us up individually, you can find Moose Cool at Sven, that's SVHENN on Twitter, PSN, Instagram, and of course Twitch, streaming games. You can find Jason Marshall writing at obelisk.co. You can also find him on Twitter at GimpyJ with 2 Y's at the end, as well as PSN, Instagram, and Twitch. He also has his own website, whereisthepausebutton.com. You can find Michaela Crescione doing all sorts of writing at obelisk.co, as well as on Twitter at RedXMod. My name is Matthew Keel. You can find me everywhere I'd like to be at infinite_rewind. That's Twitter, that's Instagram, that's Twitch, that's PSN, and I also have my own website, infiniterewind.com. Be sure to check us out at all the places. You are always welcome, and you will always have a seat waiting for you on this ride. Thank you for listening, but for now, it's back to the real world for us. So we will see you on the next one.